new one. You can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So QA and QC, right? So quality assurance and quality checking, right? So if somebody says what is actual testing, that means this is the actual testing, guys. This is the actual testing that we do, right? But now these terms, why we use these terms, to we will make sure, let's suppose if you do not follow the proper process, right, and in your application you start testing, you will got the 200 bugs, right? But if you follow the proper QA process, and right, you follow the proper development process, you follow the proper testing process, then it may be possible you will receive the 15 bugs on your testing, right? So you see the difference. 150 bug we just resolved by following the right process, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the reason QA is very much important. You got my point? Means you are doing the verification of all
So
your tasks.
you said
Hello.
without static testing, you
Hmm.
would end up with 200 bucks.
Yeah, static testing, that means you are just verifying the process,
Okay.
right? It is not the actual testing, but yeah, it is a part of testing. QA is
Right.
not a part of developer, or not the BA person. It is part of the testing itself. So right, and that's the reason I am asking you guys to do the documentations, right? Because
Hmm.
documentation will come into this part. You need to prepare one detailed documentation for your team. Let's suppose if I am a QA manager, right? If I am a QA manager, let me see if I got some sample test cases that I can show you, right? Sample test cases that I can show you. Mm, 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 okay, just hold on. Any sample test cases I can show you. Okay, see. You see, this is sample test cases I'm going to create. You see, this is sample test case I'm going to create. I says I need step ID, prerequisite test data, test step descriptions, expected result, actual result, if test case is passed, failed or skipped, and any comment, right? So this is the process I have placed in, I have put in place. So any software tester is doing the testing, they have to put this information in their test case. Now suppose if I create any test case, we do not have these steps, right? They do not have these steps, right? If I just, okay, do the testing whatever you like, put any information whatever you like, right? That means it may be possible I will have the wrong information in my test case. They will only pass failed, pass failed, pass failed, but what actually they have test, I cannot see. And that's the reason I create one process. If you are doing a testing, you have to do the testing like this way. You got my point?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that is the call the process that we are following to make sure we are getting the proper information in place, a proper area we are testing, to just make sure we got the less bug. You got my point?
Hmm.
Yeah. So this is the importance of the QA in term of the testing, right? Now the quality assurance and how you can do this QA, right? So you can do the, let's suppose if Kola create the test case for module 1, right, and Anthony create the test case for module 2, right? So I, as a team lead, I have put one process. Whenever you create the test case, you need to review with each other. You got my point? So what will happen? Let's suppose Kola created 10 test cases, right? So she asked Anthony, okay, let's sit for 30 minutes, right, and let's we do together. I will show you my test cases to you, and you give your inputs, if it is if it is makes sense or not, right? The same thing you will do with the Anthony as well, right? So this is how you are correcting your test case before actual executions, right? If something goes wrong, right, let's suppose it's Kola has mentioned, okay, I'm doing the testing for this particular the text box. So Anthony says, why don't you why you are not checking the length of the text that you are going to actually input putting in the text box? So few suggestion will come from the tester itself, right? So this is what we are doing to improve our test case before we execute in the product. Following?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So these are the different process. You do the, I will just say, you do the review meeting with each other, with team members, and same thing can be done by the developer as well. So whenever developer developed any code, right, they will ask other developer, okay, let's have 30 minutes call and I will explain you my code, how I have done this functionality. So suppose some senior people is sitting in the review meeting, right? So he can give his suggestion. Oh, okay, do one thing. Rather than using the for loop, can you use the while loop? Rather than using the condition over here, can you put the condition on the top of your logic, right? So this is how they are helping each other to improve the code, right? So once the code is developed, it is optimized, it's faster than uh, uh, it should be the faster, and it will not give that much bug to the tester, right? So they are doing the preventive action before the disease. You got my point?
Mm-hmm.
QA means we are doing the preventive action before, like in the corona situation, right? We are wearing the mask. That is a part of the process. If we do not wear the mask, we will get the corona, right?
Mm-hmm.
And once we get the corona, then doctor will do the actual testing on us. They will give the medications, they will give the stuffs to get out of the corona. But if we have follow the proper process, right? If we have wear the mask, if you wear the gloves when you go to outside, that means we have followed the process which are emphasized by the government, and so we are safe from the corona. So this is the same thing we are doing over here. We are making a proper process, so we will have the less bug in the actual testing. We'll do the walkthrough meeting as well, right? Walkthrough meeting, review, and then we will do the audit of each other, right? We'll do the audit to each other. So review, walkthrough, and audit are the part of the verifications, right? Walkthrough means, let's suppose if you have developed anything, right, and you are just calling the all your team member and you are showing them, okay, this is how this particular feature is going to be work, right? So that is called the walkthrough. What is audit? Audit means your test case is going to be checked by another team member. You are not showing your test case. Let's suppose, Khola, you create the test case and you give the test case to the Anthony. Now
Mm-hmm.
Anthony will play with that test case and he will try to find out the mistakes in your test case. You got my point?
Mm-hmm.
So that is called audit. Audit always done by the third party. You got my point?
Mm-hmm.
Audit cannot be done by yourself, right? So you give your test case. Okay, this is my test case. Just go through it and let me know if you found any issue, any mistakes, or anything, right? Where in the quality QC, right, we will do the actual testing, right? We will do the actual project product testing over here, product testing, right? So we will follow the steps, we will put your inputs and all those things, right? So this is the difference between the QA and QC, right? This is a, I will just say, prevents the errors, right? This prevents the error, these steps, and this what this uses, identify error and fix it, right? In this
For
way,
QC, you put on top, you wrote actual testing. So what would you refer to the other one as?
this
QA.
is QA is, we will just say, uh, the, I will just say, process planning, right? This is process planning. You got my point?
Mm-hmm.
This is process planning. This is actual testing. Over here, we make the our process strong enough so we cannot get that much bug in when we go with the actual testing, right? So you can also consider this is the first phase you need to focus as a part of tester, right? And this is the second phase which will come when you do the actual testing. Okay, so software tester will have two roles, two internal roles, QA and QC. Got my point?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now let me just show you few more difference. So this is the same thing that I have written over here, right? Just go through this one once again. Once you refer this video, right, stop this video, you will find the quality assurance ensure the approach, you see, approach, techniques, methods, and process are designed for the project are implemented correctly, right? There should not
Mm-hmm.
be any issue in the process, right? So that is called the quality assurance. Quality assurance is the activity to monitor and verify the process used to manage and create the deliverable have followed the right operation, right? This should follow the correct, I would say correct rules and regulations, correct protocol to create any documentations, right? It's a proactive process. This means it's a prevention in nature. That means it's prevent error to be happen. right? It helps us to prevent the error to be happen in the actual code, where the quality control, right, or quality checking, right, you can just say is identify the defects and try to fix it in the itself, right? And QC ensure approach, techniques, and method are also defined in the correct way, right? Their main aim to monitor, verify the project deliverable in the quality standards. And it's kind of we are detecting the bugs in the actual software. Okay, we are detecting the bugs in the actual software. So if you go in the difference, you will get more easily for both of things, right? So sometimes in the interview they will not ask you what is QA, what is QC, right? They can you ask you what is verification and what is validation. So you can explain the same thing. Both are the same thing, right? The verification is a part of QA and validation is a part of quality control or quality checking. You can also say quality control as well, right? So you see over here, QA is make sure we are following the right process to develop the software, right? Where the QC is focused to make sure we have built the right product, right? So whatever the product we have built, it's a correct as per the requirement, right? Then QA is aimed to prevent the defects in initial stage, where QC is aimed to identify and improve the defect. You got my point?
Yeah.
Perfect. So this is the QA and QC, guys, and this can be asked in the interview as a part of difference, right? But it's very less chance these people will ask you these questions. This is all about understanding, because you're gonna apply for the QA automation engineer. So I think they're gonna not ask you such questions. But as you are new to IT, it will good for you to understand this terminology. Okay.
Okay.
Now, what software tester roles, right? What exactly the software tester do in the company, right? So the few of the things we will follow from the STLC, right? From the STLC. So they will go through the all the required document. They understand what they need to test, right? Based on the information they have read from the different document, they will decide the steps how they need to test. Then they inform the team lead what resource they required, right, for doing the software testing. And once they understand everything, they will prepare the test cases, they will prepare the test processes, they make sure they have enough test data, right? So they will prepare all those things, and once it is prepared, they can ask the IT manager to prepare to give the test environment to them, right? So once they have test environment, they will start executing the test cases. They prepare the report for the manager, right? And they give the report to the manager. Then they will also do the different type of testing, regression testing, smoke testing, sanity testing, right? To make sure whatever the fixes has been done by the developer is actually fixed or not. They participate in the different meetings to understand the requirement in the better way. They prepare the test report for the manager. They participate in the walkthrough meeting for the test procedure. They also design and develop the automation script if they are working as an automation tester, right? So these are the normal stuff that I normally do in my company, and you will gonna do when you join any company, right? You will do the requirement analysis, you do the test case development, test case designing, you talk to the people, you attend the meeting to understand the process clearly, right? And when you develop something, whenever you have the product to actually do the execution of the test cases, you will put your remarks, you put your feedback in the test cases, right? You carried out a different type of testing, regression testing, and all those things. So we will have those part later on, right? The regression testing and everything. So once
Okay.
you will finish everything, right, if you are working as an automation tester, then you also do the automation script writing, right? You will use Java or any language to write your test cases. So these are the role of the tester in the IT company, right? I will have one script to describe. Let's suppose in the interview they will say, okay, describe yourself or tell me something about your professional journey, right? So when we start our interview question and answer session, right, you will get to know how you need to answer those questions, right? Everything is prepared. You need to just go through once or twice and you will understand how you need to speak about yourself. Okay.
Okay.
Now we'll talk about the different method of testing, right? What is black box testing and what is white box testing, right? So let me again go to the MS Paint and I will show you. Okay. So software testing methods. Software testing methods. Now you see there are two type of software tester. I will just say one is technical, one is non-technical. You got my point. So the black box testing, right, and there is a white box testing. So black box testing is, it sounds like the everything is black, right? That means you do not have the you do not have the knowledge of the application and you are doing the testing. Everything is black to you. You got my point. This is how you can assume what is black box testing means. You are not aware about how the application is going to be work, right? But you know what is the data you need to send as an input, and you need to record the expected output. That's it. You got my point. So over
Mm-hmm.
here in the black box testing, tester do not have detailed understanding of coding or application logic, right? Coding or application logic. So this is normally, I will just say, the manual tester can do this stuff, right? They do not have the any understanding of internal logic or coding part, right? So you can consider these are the non-technical people who can do the black box testing. Where in the white box testing, tester do have the detailed knowledge of coding and application logic. So they know how the actual code is going to be work, right, and how application is logic is carried out to perform that functionality, right? So this is the stuffs we will say they have the knowledge of coding and everything, right? They do have knowledge. Now what is the black box testing? The main approach of black box testing, let me tell you one thing. They both focus on the quality, right? They both focus on the qualities, right? So let's suppose if we have one application, right? If we have one application, right? So in application we have three text box: first name, then last name, then mobile number, right? And then we will have submit button to submit that form, right? This is a simple form that we will have. Now how the black box tester is going to do the testing on this form? They know, okay, I have three text box: first name, last name, and mobile number. That means I need three input data, right? Three input test data. This is called test data, right? So this is, I need three input data to do the testing of this application. You got my point. So what they will do, they will first use the correct data, right? So it says they use the Ankit as a first name, then Prajapati as a last name, and then my mobile number, something like that, right? They use my mobile number to do the testing. Now they will use the, as a part of input data, they use incorrect data. So instead of name field, they are putting the number, right? Instead of the last name, they are putting the special character, and in the name of the mobile number, they are putting the name, right? So this is how they are using the incorrect data. This is correct data they are using, and this is incorrect data they are using, right? This is input data they are doing. Now what they are going to do, they know three input data: first name, last name, mobile number, they require to send into this application, and click on submit button without knowing how it's going to actually work in the back side. They just look at front, put the data, click on submit, and if suppose in the correct data, what is the expected output they will get? They will get, they will record these things. In the correct data, if you put the correct data, right, this is data got saved successfully. This is the output they will record in their Excel sheet or something, right? They will record these things: data got saved successfully. Then in term of incorrect data, right, this is validation error on the screen, right? They will get the validation error. You cannot enter the numerical value in the text box for the first name. You cannot enter the special character in the last name. You cannot enter the the string like Ankit in the mobile number, because it is aimed to only enter the numerical value. So this is how they do the testing. They have set up input data, they pass the input data, and they see what exactly getting as a part of output result, right? Pass, fail, and all those things. But over here, the white box tester, they know when they click on submit, right, how the code is going to be work, how the code is going to be work, right? So they know how the code file is as designed. So they know, okay, if there is in the code there is if condition, if data is equal to valid, right, data is equal to valid, then just says insert into user table, right, all the data, insert into user table all the data. If else, if code is incorrect, then this is print the message, print the message, enter valid data, right? So this is the things, right, that white box tester people know how it's gonna be work, right? When they will click on this particular specific things, right, they know how it's gonna be work.
Can you explain the white box a little bit differently? I understand the black box part, but I'm a little confused. So if the
Okay,
data is valid, I'm confused on the insert into user
okay,
table.
no worries. Let me just put the same thing. You understand the black box, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I will just put these things over here. Now suppose this is what you can see in the black box testing, right? This is what you can see in the black box testing, right? It's just simple, send the input data and you identify the expected output, right? Now over
Mm-hmm.
here you see this data is getting saved, right? So you see, if it is a valid data, then what you need to do, you see data got successfully inserted. If it is invalid data, else what you need to do, you show you show this message on the screen. So from that message is coming, from where that message is coming, that message is coming from this code file, this coding file. You see the link. The correct data means valid data,
Mm-hmm.
incorrect data means invalid data. So what will
Mm-hmm.
happen if the correct data is correct, right? The expected outcome, data got saved successfully. So where it they gonna saved? When you enter any data, right, it's gonna save in the tables, in the database tables, right? So it says
Mm-hmm.
over here it is gonna do is they are gonna be insert that new record into the user table. You see, insert into the user table if the data is valid. Now suppose if data is invalid, then print the message that you have entered the invalid data, means this message you can also write like this way, print
Okay.
this message. So they both are doing the same thing, you got my point. But these
Mm-hmm.
people will have the knowledge of coding, how the condition they have applied, what tables they have involved, right? So this is how they will do the coding from the code file itself, right? So this testing, the black box testing, can be done by the testers. And this testing initially only developer used to do, but now we can just say automation tester also do, because
Okay.
automation tester are the technical people, right? They know the coding, they understand the code. They, if they cannot write the advanced stuffs in the code, but they can understand the code, right? So
Okay.
let me just show you. This is the one program I have, right? This is the hash map demo I have, right? This is one simple program, understand, as a simple program, right? So now suppose if I want to test this application, I will just right click and just run the application. You see, run the application and you will see straight away it execute and it give me the code, it give me the result, right? So this is my
Mm-hmm.
expected input I have put. Sorry, this is the input I am giving over here, and this is the output I am getting on my console as a print, right? Now suppose if I want to do this verification as a part of white box tester, I have put some, you see, toggle button over here.
Mm-hmm.
I have put the toggle button over here. You see toggle breakpoint. So I will just go and right click and just say toggle breakpoint. Then I also put the toggle breakpoint in the for loop. You see, when it runs the for loop, I want to validate the information over here, right? So I have put the two toggle button. Now you see the how it's gonna be work. In the first run, it's give the all the outputs in the quickly, right? But now if I just do right click and debug means I am doing the white box testing. You see now it's showing me the code file, line number 24. Okay, this is line number 24. Okay, this is the things. Then I will go to next. Once I will be on the line number 24, then what is next? So I will click on the next. It says line number 25. You see,
Mhm.
then next 26, then next 27, then next. It's gonna print the value 1, right? Get the value 1 and it's gonna print on my screen. So Ankit Prajapati should get print on the screen. You see, Ankit Prajapati got print on the screen, only one value. Initially, it print all the things together, but now it is doing one by one. Now it says need to print the value 5, but I do not have the value 5. I only have 1, 2, 3, 4. That means 5 will be the null. You see, 5 will be the null. Then it's come to the for loop. Another breakpoint I have put on the line number 39, right? So another for loop. So you see over here now it's running the for loop, line number 39, and you see it's print the first value 1 is equal to Ankit Prajapati. You see, this is get the key 1 and put this sign and put the value. So 1, put the sign and the value. Then second value will be QA automation. Second will be QA automation. Third will be SLT learning. Fourth will be extra element, right? So all those elements, you see, all those
Mhm.
inputs get printed correctly in the output console, right? So this is how I can do the white box testing by going to the code itself. You got my point?
Yeah.
Yeah. So same thing, whatever happening in the black box testing, we are doing the same thing, but in more technical way, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So any questions on these things, Anthony?
Is there a certain program that you use when you
Sorry?
input? Is there a certain program that you're using when you input
No.
these?
For the white box testing, we use the actual code files,
Okay.
right? There is no specific other program. This is all about the people who has the more technical knowledge compared to the
Right.
less technical people.
So you said that before only developers did white box testing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for testers now, do they use both or what?
I will just say before 10 years, right, when automation testing was not into the picture, when people when somebody says about testing, that means manual testing, they validate the stuff manually. But now we have tools and technology, right? And now people are more technical in the testing field because they want everything to be automated. Many people lose their job in the manual testing because they do not want to upgrade their self. You got my point? They do
Mhm.
not want to learn the technical stuff. They do not want to learn the Java language and all those things. So that is
Mhm.
the one of the concern. Now people are more technical in term of the testing as well. So now developer is giving their burden to them. Okay, now you know how the code is work, right? So go and do the white box testing as well.
Okay. So automation testers are more in demand than manual testers?
I will just say if in the market there are 100 requirement for the software tester, right? It will be
Mhm.
98 for the automation tester and 2 for the manual tester,
Mm.
Okay.
right? Because yeah, sometimes it may be happen they will hire you as an automation tester, but initially they will give you the work for the manual tester. But at some point every company wants to improve, right? Every company wants
Mhm.
to put some advanced process in their development cycle, right? So that's the reason they prefer the automation tester. And automation testing is also not that much difficult, to be honest. If you keep learning, you also learn how to write the Java code, how to write the Selenium file, everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Mhm.
that's the reason I have divided the training in such a way that initially it will not give you the too much burden on your mind, right? You do not want to learn everything. Once you get the job, right, once you know what tools and technology you're going to be work, you need to learn only those part of the automation side,
Okay.
right? Like the
Mhm.
one of the candidate learned the Selenium from
Mhm.
from basic to the advanced for 3 months, right? He learned the Selenium completely, and when he went to the market, right, there is no job for the Selenium. People are talking about other tools, right? So he asked me, okay, what I should do. But I told him, okay, for you, what is important? Job, right? So to, so go for the job, whatever the job you will get, and learn those tools, right? So that is the reason, do not learn advanced stuffs on the initially. Once you get the job offer on your hand, then learn only those things which will help you in the job.
Right.
But don't you need to know those things to get the job offer though?
No, let me tell you one things. After this, I will tell you one things. Okay, let because this is what we are going to record, and I want recording to be only knowledge purpose.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so this is the white box. This is the black box testing. You see over here, the black box testing has few parameters, and this is the white box testing, right? So you see
Mhm.
over here, the white box testing, the tester will have the understanding about the actual logic, how the code is going to be developed, and all those things. And again, like a verification and validation, they might be ask you what is the difference between the white box and black box testing, right? But you should be aware, they might be ask you, okay, are you part of the white box testing? You always say yes, I do the white box testing along with the one developer, right? And I understand the code very well, so I can do the white box testing as well, right? Black box
Mhm.
testing, that means normally manual tester do. They have set of input data, they send the input data to the system, and whatever the expected output will come, they will just measure in the excel. They do not concern how the thing is going to be worked actually. They just have their input data, they pass the input data and collect the output result and record that result into the excel or Jira or any test management tool. Got my
Okay.
point?
Mhm.
Okay, perfect. So let's we do one thing, let's keep this thing as of now, and because in the next session we're going to talk about the different types of software testing, functional, non-functional, and all those things. But let's we keep this thing as of now, and tomorrow we will sit at the same time and we will talk about the type of software testing. Okay,
Okay.
perfect. And as a part of your assignment, again, whatever the topics we have gone through, right, you need to prepare detailed notes, write down HTLC in your terms like a paragraph, right? Then go to the difference, read about the QA, QC, just write down few difference between them, then explain yourself in your word, just go through and just write down few paragraph, how you gonna work as a part of tester in the any company, right? What a role and responsibility are involved as a part of software tester. Then write about something about black box testing, then what is white box testing, what are the different black box testing types, right? What are the different types of white box testing? So if you see over here, right, the black box testing will be the unit testing, integration testing, system testing. All those things we will discuss tomorrow, right, in detail. But these are the type of the black box testing. And what are the type of the white box testing? Statement coverage, branch coverage, and path coverage. We just check over here, right? How we these are all are the statements. We go one by one with the statements to validate the code, right? So this is the
Mhm.
type of white box testing. Just write down few stuffs again as a part of assignment and understand these things, right? This is not going to be asked in the interview, to be honest, but this is very important for you to understand the fundamental of the software testing.
Okay.
Okay, because everything, when you learn advanced, everything is interconnected. Okay.
Mhm.